And that breaking news, we've been following it all day. A Wauwatosa police detective was shot on Milwaukee's northwest side today. The detective was shot this morning near 60th and Good Hope while investigating a burglary. Now, the detective was taken to Freighter Hospital with non-life-threatening injuries.
He is now out of surgery. Wauwatosa police detective is giving a statement outside the hospital. He's walking to the podium right now. Let's take a listen.
Yeah, this is a live look outside Freighter Hospital. What you see there in the white shirt, that is the Wauwatosa Police Chief, Barry Weber, and he's going to give us an update on the situation. We know that the officer was shot. They said it was non-life-threatening, but had been in surgery, is now out of surgery, and so let's listen in to the police chief.
Can you give us an update on the condition of the detective?
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Barry Weber. I'm the police chief here in Wauwatosa. The reason we're here today, and I won't be able to take questions because I'm not at the scene of where the incident took place, but here at the hospital where I've been since I learned of the incident this morning. The detective has been in surgery today. He has come through the surgery, is now is resting. He's listed in serious but stable condition, so we're optimistic that he'll make a full recovery, but it could be some time yet, and the injury is more serious than we first thought. So, but like I said, we're hopeful that things are going to turn out okay.
Tell us what kind of injury he sustained?
He sustained a gunshot wound. He sustained a gunshot wound. I really can't go into much more detail than that because I'm not a doctor, and you know, whereas a doctor could probably explain all the whys and wherefores and how the bullet traveled and all that, I'm really not qualified to do that. So we're going to be here for a while longer. I believe there's going to be another press update about 4:15 at 60th and Good Hope is where the command post has been set up. So I think MPD will be at that location. I'm going to remain here at the hospital for a while and just make sure everything is okay with the family. So thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Chief, can you tell us where he was shot?
There you have it. Police Chief Barry Weber talking about an update on the officer who was shot. We know he's 52 years old, been with the police department for 25 years, and it sounded more serious than they initially thought.
Yeah, we had initially reported non-life-threatening. Now he's saying serious but stable.
Expected to make a full recovery, but they're still there, and obviously you can hear in his tone very concerned about one of his detectives. Now, the officers were investigating a burglary when they confronted the suspect in a car in a Milwaukee apartment parking lot.
Yona Gavino is live near the scene of the shooting with the latest. Yona.
Yeah, the police presence behind me is actually winding down here in this immediate area. We're told that police do not believe that the man they're looking for is still in that area, and he actually ran away on foot after firing several shots. Now, here's video from what we're looking at. Law enforcement has been searching for the suspect for 5 hours now. 2 Wauwatosa police detectives and 1 uniformed officer were investigating a burglary when they confronted a suspect in a vehicle in the parking lot just a few blocks from here. The suspect opened fire, shooting a detective. I talked to one man traveling from Chicago. He was here to pick up his son, but he couldn't get to him because North 60th Street was flooded with police.
I'm very terrified. I really just want to sit back in my car. I really don't want to be out here standing because police are walking around with guns and this guy can just appear out of anywhere and anything can happen.
And the detective's injuries are non-life-threatening. Milwaukee police tells us we're going to have another update from them in just about an hour. For now, we're live here in Milwaukee. Yona Gavino, today's TMJ4.
All right,
and we are going to go back to that press conference where the chief of Wauwatosa Police is talking.
I'm very proud of him, and I think he did the right thing.
And
Thank you very much.
was he the one that was in uniform? Because we know that there were
He's a detective. He is in plain clothes.
He was in plain clothes.
Yeah. So thank you very much, everybody. I appreciate it.
Okay.
All right, there again, Police Chief Barry Weber wrapping up that news conference, saying he's very proud of his officers at that moment, talking about the difficulty they've been through the last few hours with one of his detectives being shot.
Now, police have been searching for the suspect. Jermont Terry is live at 55th and Eustis.
Yes, good afternoon, Katie. I can tell you that Milwaukee police have said through Twitter that they have concluded their search here near 55th and Houston. This is where they've been the majority of the morning and all afternoon. You can see that there's now just one solo, lone squad car after they searched these woods. Let's get you to the video from earlier in the day. Milwaukee police, along with Wauwatosa officers and many other agencies, were diligently looking through apartments one by one behind them in woods, looking for this individual who opened fire on this Wauwatosa officer. It was a situation where neighbors were forced to stay inside their homes for the majority of the day, but right now we know police were able to conclude the search, the extensive search in this area. We had a chance to talk to a mother who was concerned. Her daughter was scheduled to get off for her school bus, but she had no idea if she could get home because the mother couldn't leave her neighborhood to get to this her young daughter. Let's listen to that woman. Kind of explain to me what's going through your mind. It's been several hours. You can't leave, and you need to go pick someone up.
Yeah, I need to go pick my daughter up. Actually, she's supposed to be home from school, but we can't. I don't know where she's supposed to get dropped off at, so we're waiting on her now.
Kind of explain to me the scene just in this neighborhood. On the other side of this fence here, I see several homes. This will be 58th and Helena Street, which is literally right off 60th where everything played out. Describe the scene that you've been seeing with officers, how many, and what if they had the guns out?
Yes, they've been having guns out, running through the area, searching everything, my backyard, just everywhere. U-Haul place, everywhere, helicopters all around.
Are you concerned and nervous?
Yes, I wish they'd find them so I can get on with my life.
And again, the concern is to catch this individual. Now, as you heard that young lady say police were in her backyard, she lives off 58th and Helena. The Presidio apartments are right here. Well, I'm joined by Lisa Draper. The SWAT team came inside of her home. Explain the situation for me. You're literally just coming out, and you have some pictures that we'll get to show our viewers momentarily, but let's get to what happened. They came in, and what happened, Lisa?
They knocked on the door. They asked, was it all right for them to come in? We told them, yeah. I just asked that they keep their guns down. It was 4 of them, and they just walked through, checked everything, the basement, the closets, everything, and left on back out.
Now, how long did it take them? And explain to me. We saw officers in full SWAT gear. Were they in full SWAT gear? Did they give you an idea of what you should look out for, or what you should do? What did they tell you?
No, they just said they wanted to make sure we was okay and that nobody was hiding nowhere in the house or on the porch or anything. They just checked everything and walked on out.
Now, Lisa Draper, what's your concern? I mean, obviously, were you a little afraid, frightened in all of this?
Well, yeah, at the time, I didn't even know what was going on. Then I had to turn on the news real quick and find out what was going on. So, yeah, I was real scared. I kept watching them as they was watching us.
All right, Lisa Draper, glad to know that you're okay. Again, the concern in this neighborhood, this is just one of many neighbors who have been essentially trapped in their homes throughout the day, throughout the morning, as Milwaukee police, Wauwatosa police, and several agencies were searching by the air, most definitely by ground, this wooded area that you see right off in the distance here at 55th and Houston. But again, Milwaukee police telling us through their Twitter feed that they have concluded their search in this area. We don't have a suspect in custody, but they're still telling neighbors, if you see anything suspicious, if you see maybe someone that fits the description of that individual with the ponytail, call police, call 911, because this individual is most definitely dangerous. That's the very latest. Reporting live at 55th and Houston's Jermont Terry. Charles, back to you.
All right, Jermont, thank you. Very intense situation. We are now honored to be joined by retired Oak Creek Lieutenant Brian Murphy, a humble hero, in my opinion, shot 15 times in the Oak Creek Temple, the Sikh Temple shooting. You're here to talk to us about what is going on in Wauwatosa and Milwaukee right now. You heard the news conference from the police chief in Wauwatosa. Obviously, the situation a little more serious than what we initially thought. We know the officer had been shot. He is now in serious condition. He expects the full recovery. Tell me that process going through for that family, for that department right now.
Well, absolutely. Chief Weber does the right thing by going to the hospital and taking care of the family of the injured detective. The one thing that I can guarantee you is being at Frederick, he's getting excellent care. But on the flip side of that, once you're shot, that bullet initially may look like a small injury, but that bullet has a way of traveling around and causing much more internal damage. I think the police departments are working well together, Wauwatosa as well as MPD and the Sheriff's Department, and doing the best they can. But from the family's point of view, it was important that the chief is there, and I'm sure there's other officers from Wauwatosa as well.
Take me to the scene. Now, you obviously weren't there. You know, I haven't talked to anybody about this particular situation to get updated on everything that happened. But take me to the scene. What was going on as they are approaching a burglary suspect, know that he could potentially be armed, get upon the scene, shots are fired.
You know, when I initially heard of that particular part, they went with two plainclothes detectives and one officer in uniform, which leads me to believe that they were more than likely going to take that individual into custody. By all accounts, it appears they were going to an apartment, and he's in a car. I'm sure
dangerous situation.
Absolutely. You can't, once someone's in a car, you can't see hands. You don't know if he's armed or he's unarmed. You don't immediately want to draw your service weapon. But in this case, it does appear that once this individual came out, it was a blitz attack where he fired multiple rounds at the officers. So I'm sure they returned some fire.
If we can show some of the video of the search area, there's a massive search going on there, door to door, car to car, using the helicopter, using the dogs. What are they trying to do there? And you heard some of the frustration from people who live in that area. So how does all that come together?
You know, it's very difficult for the people who are living there. The police department is going to go door to door, under every rock, because you have to narrow down where this individual is. If he's emboldened enough to shoot a police officer, who knows who else he could shoot. So that, unfortunately, it does take time, and it is frustrating for the people who live there, but it really is for their safety as well as the safety of the officers involved. Due to the complexity of the scene and multiple agencies involved, you are going to have a large-scale search for this particular individual.
So we're 6 hours, 7 hours into this. Give me some role-playing here in the sense of how long do you wait it out?
You know, I'm sure they worked an inner perimeter. They set up an inner perimeter right after the initial shooting, secured that as best they could, and then worked their way out. There does come a point that once you reach your outer perimeter, which in this case was probably more than 10 blocks square, you're not going to find the individual, and you do have to look elsewhere. So that 6-7 hours is about right.
So give me your thoughts for parents and people coming home. They've been at work all day. This has been going on. Now they got to go back into that neighborhood.
You know, the police are still going to have a heavy presence in the area, just assuming that person's going to come back to, I'm assuming he resides there. They do have to be on the lookout more than anything and understand that this is for the safety of everyone living there, not just for the police officers involved, but this is a man who obviously committed multiple robberies, didn't want to go to jail, and didn't want to give himself up.
And has already shot at an officer,
Absolutely.
An injured one. So Lieutenant Brian Murphy here with us. He's going to stay with us this afternoon for some of the updates as we hear more information from the Wauwatosa and the Milwaukee Police Department as they continue this investigation. Katie?
All right, thanks, Charles. Here's a quick recap now. A Wauwatosa detective was shot while investigating a burglary near 60th and Good Hope in Milwaukee. He was taken to Freighter Hospital and is expected to be okay, has serious injuries, but is in stable condition. Police continue to search for the gunman. It's unknown if that gunman is injured. We do plan on having continuing coverage throughout this breaking news. For the latest, head to our website at tmj4.com. We'll be right back.